Hi brothers and sisters, back for another video, okay? And we're going to call this one Striking Distance. And we're going to show you why. We're going to start in Isaiah 26, verse 1. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of not Judah, Israel. We have a strong city. Salvation, that's Yeshua, feminine. Yeah. It means deliverance. It's 3, 4, 4, 4. I usually say 3, 4, 4. It's 3, 4, 4, 4. Feminine. Yeshua, deliverance, victory over the enemy. Will God appoint for walls and bulwarks? Where do we find walls and bulwarks in mention? Song of Songs, chapter 8. Her. She's in reconstruction. So open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. So, the gates belong to the daughters of Zion. The daughters of Zion were called your watchers. Right? That truth may enter in. So only those holding the truth of the way of God upon their tongue will be the ones allowed in. Not idol worshippers. It's only those holding the truth. So open the gates so a righteous nation can come in, one that remains faithful. This nation is found in the daughters of Israel, who is the scepter that mother will rule through. Mother, the symbology for mother in Hebrew is the Aleph, which is not an ox. No, it's a heifer. Even though we know that God does not like animal representation, God says you change your glory over to animals, is what you do. When you're supposed to be made in my image, not the image of an animal. And I love animals. Don't think I don't. I do. But she says you're not an animal, so don't behave like an animal. Behave like me. And bowing to an idol is akin to animal behavior, because that's exactly what it'll lead to. And this is what this is all about, striking distance. Okay. Now, what else? Thou wilt keep her perfect. Keep her in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because she trusted in thee. Right? Trust. This is the verse we're going to look at quick, but this isn't what the study is about. Trust ye in the Lord forever, because in Yah, the Lord is an everlasting rock. Who's called your rock? Deuteronomy 32. We can go up to verse 4 first, as that's kind of important. She is the rock. Scott, he, understand he's your rock. No, she's identified as your rock that you rejected from the beginning. She is the rock. Her work is perfect, for all her ways are judgment. A God of truth. And without iniquity, just and right is she. And she is. Then we go down to 18. Of the rock that you ignored and gave birth to you, you forgot. You forgot the God that formed you. When we look these words up, we get the idea of parturition, childbirth. Literally pushing a child out in childbirth. Right? That's not a father. This is the God, this is the rock that you forgot and you ignore. And it's only these daughters of truth holding the truth of their mother's laws and way upon their tongue, not forgetting the Creator in the days of their youth, that will be allowed in through those gates. When she appears and the heavens scroll back, there's going to be some failing hearts. Because sitting on that true throne is not going to be who you've been told and brainwashed that it is. Now understand, there's always the dragon to contend with, isn't there? So, right, where am I? Okay, Deuteronomy 32. So back to Isaiah 26. For she bringeth down them that dwell on high. This is important. This is the verse we really want to look at. I better double check that. Yeah. For she bringeth down them that dwell on high. The lofty city. She layeth it low, even to the ground she bringeth it even to the dust. This is where we begin to come into striking distance. Jeremiah 51:53. Even if Babylon ascends to the heights and fortifies her or his lofty stronghold, I will send destroyers against her. Those that's going to be in striking distance, declares the Lord. Those that's holding the truth on their tongue. We're going to show you why that's what it means. Okay, so Let's pull up. Verse 5. Okay, so she humbles those who dwell on high. She lays a lofty city low. She levels it to the ground, casts it down to the dust. That'll actually take us to what she does to the lofty mountain in Zechariah 4, where she will pound the wicked into chaff, right? And level the ground, and there she will bring forth her capstone, it says, which is a feminine, the daughters of Israel. That's what it is. So, let's look at lofty. That's the word we're going to look at. Come on. It is 7682. What does it mean? Lofty? To make yourself lofty? It means to be inaccessibly high. Exalted. You think you're unassailable. You think you're set up securely. Well, what did we determine that this is actually in reference to? What's Babylon? Daniel 2, Daniel 3, we see the idol that Nebuchadnezzar dreams of. This four-fold idol, right? And the inaccessible high was Babylon, the head, the gold of a man as your Lord and God. That's the inaccessibly high. But what got it officially standing did we discover? It was the feet. And what did we discover the feet was? The New Testament. That's what we discovered the New Testament was. The feet of the idol, a man. She thought she's inaccessibly high. No one can touch her. She's not in striking distance, but she is. Watch this. 2 Samuel 23:6. Is not my house right with God? For she has established me with an everlasting covenant. We find her established as the everlasting covenant in Isaiah 49. She says, Dear daughter Israel, you will be my light, not only unto the Israelites, but unto the Gentiles as well. We discovered how she is able to claim the Gentiles as Israelites, in fact, is when she gets cast out amongst them. You are claimed to be an Israelite through the woman's seed, not through the man's. If a man married outside of these daughters into these foreign nations, they were no longer considered Israelites or children. It's only through the women that the seed of the woman is perpetuated. Get it? So when they actually cast off the scepter of the daughter of Israel and cast her, and some ends up out into the lands of the Gentiles, we're told that. The children that they perpetuate out there becomes Israel's children, right? So we in effect get an understanding of Isaiah 49, how she can claim the Israelites and the Gentile nations as her own, and that she is promised to be the light, right? For she has established me with an everlasting covenant. She has ordered and secured in every part. So she has to order her case. She has to set her case in order. That's what this is talking about. And secured in every part. She has to understand her case when she presents it to the Ancient of Days. We see the books being opened for the court case in Daniel 7, when the Ancient of Days, her mother, another name for wisdom, come on, reason. And we understand that that's absolutely who it is when we study, Psalm 1. No, Proverbs. All right, see, I'm getting it mixed up. It's either Proverbs 2, then? I can't remember. Proverbs 1, Proverbs 2, or Psalm 2. No, it takes us to Psalm 2. Yeah. So it's Proverbs 1 or 2, and then it takes Proverbs 1, and it takes us to Psalm 2. So it's wisdom speaking about sending her rod. And she says, This day I give you the decree, this day have I begotten thee. That's her new branch that she's taking out her daughter. All right? But what are we looking at here? And secured in every part. So she has to set her proverbs in order. We see the Koheleth, the female assembler, doing that before she can bring forth her case, which is actually going to bring her in striking distance. So will she not bring about my full salvation and my every desire? But watch this. But the worthless are all like thorns raked aside, for they can never be gathered by hand. So the worthless here, they'll say these are sons of Belial. The King James will tell you it. But the sons of Belial, the sons of darkness, right? Who wants to make this so and keep it so, keep a man idle standing so you women bow to him, so he gets to claim your goods under the law and say you're not a person under the law. But the sons of Belial shall be all of them as thorns thrust away, because they cannot be taken with the hand. So who's the hand identified in the scriptures? The daughters of Israel. You run out Isaiah 51, Isaiah 52, and put that with Psalm 89, and you will soon understand that it is a daughter of Israel who is the right hand of God, who will, what is it? I can't get the I never can remember the terminology, but she basically dismembers Leviathan and Rahab the dragon, which is another name for Egypt, which is where the witnesses died. Okay? In the New Testament is what they'll tell you. So, but this is not the verse we're actually going to look at. We're going to look at, because look up Belial there, the sons of darkness. Along with that is the harlot that builds the idol up, right? Thinks she can't be touched. You watch them in commentary now. Their speech is harder than it's ever been. That's a hardening of the neck, the hardening of their argument, right? They're immovable from the Jesus religion, from the Father God religion. You can't touch them, right? Forget it. You watch them. That's the argument. But what does it say in this verse? The woman who touches them must be armed with iron or with a shaft of a spear. The fire burns them to ashes in the place where they lie. Let's look at these. There's two words we're going to look at, because it's important to understand the loftiness of Babylon. So we're going to first take a look at 5060, to touch. All right? To touch, reach, strike. We need to come in striking distance. So if we're in striking distance here, and we're the first heaven, and we looked at this in an allegorical terminology, as in the first heaven, which is earth, where earth dwells. That's the first heaven, right? As the feet of the idol, The second heaven is where the spirit would dwell. So this is where the real battle takes place. So I'm going to say this is where we're going to come into full striking distance. All right? And that striking becomes at the feet, when we strike the feet down here. And we are striking the feet down here and understanding what's allowing that lofty head, Babylon, to stay in power. It is the feet, and it is the New Testament. Jesus, man, Lord, God, rock, water, creator of life, everything. That's your idol standing on those feet. And that's why in Job 26 and in Job 12, you will get that the pillars of heaven are shaking. Because we're striking the feet down here. And it is the daughters of Israel, the new branch took out, the new scepter of the true holy God, the true creator, coming in striking distance of her enemy. That's what it is. So to touch, to reach, to strike, arrive, attain, reaching. So there's all kinds of words. Brought down. Okay. So do we see the striking distance? Beat. Be able to bring it down. Come. Cast. Come nigh. Draw near nigh. Get up. Happen. Join. You know, we get an idea here as well. This struck me when I seen this, of the 10 spies that went into the land of the giant and says, yes, it's a land of milk and honey, but we can take it. 2 of them said. The other 10 played the cowards, played the fearful and the unbelieving is what they played at. They stayed at their little idol's feet is what they did. They wouldn't partake in taking of the good land. They wouldn't. They were too cowardly to do so. Or they had hardened their necks. So they couldn't. If I'm intense, that's just the way I am. I'm quite intense when I speak of things that I believe. Don't think nothing of me. I'm sometimes a really nice person. I don't like to be mean to people. I like to look at us all as, equals and cherish the good things that I see in a person and forget about the bad things. And I think that's what we're instructed to do as the children of God, and just work at changing the bad things is what we try to do. But part of that change has to come by assessing the truth. Yeah. And it's only through the truth that we're going to be able to take the wickedness out of the land. That's what God tells us. Okay? So don't be, scared off by my intensity. It's just, when I believe something so strongly to be true, I'm going to be intense about it. And that's just the nature of me, and people like me that has this sort of personality trait where we feel intense about things and we must speak about them in that manner. It doesn't mean that you should be offended by that, because that's not how I am in my day-to-day life. I'm a pretty calm person. I don't tend to get riled about a lot of things unless it's something to do with what I truly, truly believe in. Okay, so, sorry, enough about me. So happen, join, beat, be able to bring down, cast, come, nigh, draw, near, nigh. So, striking distance. Is that why we're seeing some of these planets? We've got something in striking distance, don't we? They're saying it's a dragon system. I'm still studying it. I'm still trying to understand this all figuratively, because that's the true language, the true language that God gave us to understand the Bible in. Allegory is the language. Hebrew is so allegorical, and like the representation of the mother is the Aleph. That's right. That's not an ox, feminine. Come on, heifer. Heifer is the representation of the nation of Israel in the Bible, of women, nation, feminine. And but God says, you changed your glory over to animal. She says, you were made in my image from the beginning. Why do you want to make everything animal, but yet to get to the truth, we have to understand all that allegory. So, don't be offended by me having to do this after I say, we're not to do that. But in order to get to that truth, we absolutely have to hit on it. So in Hebrew symbology, the mother is represented by the Aleph, which is a heifer, a symbology of the nation of Israel herself, and the water symbol. The water. Oh, look at that. And what did they do? They struck the rock, right? That poured the water out, right? She says, of the rock that birthed you. You see the rock symbology there of the water pouring out. We get that also in the birthing process. But this is the real word we want to take a look at. Must be armed with iron. All right? We're going to look at armed. But yeah, I wanted to reference this verse first. Micah 4, verse 13. Yeah, Micah 4, verse 13. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, Israel. For I will make thine horn iron. Your horn is exalted into the second heaven. That's what it looks like. And your hooves of brass. Oh, there we go. Going to beat the feet down, which is why, again, the pillars of heaven shake at her rebuke, right? This says it's her rebuke. It's the Spirit's rebuke. That's what it is. So I'm just going to do this because I want to see this myself. Job. It's fun when you got the time. It gets to be a struggle when you're finding yourself short on time. You can't do the things you love the most, for me. So, where am I going? 26 is where we want to go. And 12. It's a repeat of the same verses. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at her reproof. We found her in Psalm 50 given the reproof. She says, you thought I was just like you. You thought I was a man just like you. Now will I set the case in order. That's the day of the Lord is about the controversy of Zion. Controversy of Zion is about the case at law. And we see that case being opened up again before the Ancient of Days who approaches, scrolls back the heavens and calls forth only those daughters with the truth on their tongue. That's what we see. They're the only ones allowed through her gate. That's it. Nobody else is allowed through that gate, only the ones holding the truth for the court case. So is it a physical happening we're going to see in this? Now, we see others picking up on a spiritual battle, but not what the Magi and the charlatans are pointing us to, which is these signs and wonders in the second heaven of Jesus, your King coming. Those aren't the signs we're talking about. These people on their other channels are finding in a different spectrum, right? This spiritual battle is playing out, and they're catching glimpses of that. That I don't question. I believe that to be true. They're picking up on it, and they're showing it to you, and good on them to do that, because we need to be aware of what is going on. And that is their calling. That is their personal spiritual calling upon them. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. That's not my area of expertise. This is. I do, however, validate that. There is a spiritual battle, and you do have to look deep in order to find it. Just like in here, you have to look deep in order to find this. This is what I would consider my area of expertise. So, arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people. There we see the mountain being broken into chaff. Chaff represents the wicked, which was the sons of Belial in that last verse there that we looked at. And she says, and then I will make it a level ground, and there I'll bring forth my mountain. And she will grow into, it says in Zion, the stone that smashes the feet and toes on that idol that keeps the head, that inaccessible head of Babylon, that gold head standing. And she says, then that mountain, that rock will grow into a mountain. And that's Mount Zion. And it tells you that right in that chapter. It is Daniel 2, I'm pretty sure. But we find the mountain, the capstone, in Zechariah 4. And it's the only time that they'll put head as feminine. And because God doesn't have a head like you would think, like this dominating head. But for 1,000 years, she's going to have to do that. She's going to have to behave in a very dominating way, very, aggressive manner in order to take that wickedness out of the land. So we bring the capstone forth, which is identified as Zion herself. Israel, which is the name of the angel that Jacob actually wrestled for her birthright. And she says, why do you ask my name? You know you already have it. But she hamstrings him, which in the scriptures, the only time you'll find to hamstring somebody or their animals meant that they were your enemy. So here we have her telling her, arise and thresh, I will make thy hooves brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Then in Job 26, we get the pillars shaking, right? She says, the pillars of heaven tremble, and we astonish at her reproof. Psalm 50 again. Asaph, your gatherer. Koheleth in Ecclesiastes 12, your female assembler, putting her proverbs in order, her case to be presented. So she divided the sea with her power. That's right. And by her understanding, she smiteth through the proud. That's what we do when we smash those feet. We're taking out the proud. And it's her reproach that's causing the heavens, right, the pillars of heaven to tremble. Well, the pillars of heaven is that idol standing, that's keeping that gold head of Babylon standing, right? And we know the presence was identified as the camp of Mahanaim on earth. The daughters of Israel were actually the ones that parts the covenant, the right hand of God. Yep, they have the power to part the waters. The waters is akin to, in the parting is akin to a birthing canal. She has to divide the covenants, one of blood, one of water. And there she births her children out through with the truth. And it's her that did that, and we're told that in those 3 passages I already gave. So by her spirit, she has garnished the heavens. Her hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are parts of her ways, but how little a portion is heard of her, but the thunder of her power. Who can understand? You don't understand her power. You don't want to understand her power. But she formed both. It says she formed the Leviathan right along with the behemoth. That's what she says. So, but here we have thy horns on, which is going to reference us back to what we found here in 2 Samuel 23:7. So, but the woman who touches them must be armed with So let's look at armed. This is important. We look at this verse. All right. But the pillars, we see the pillars are the feet in the earth. And when we are approaching to those feet, it's akin to us approaching with being fenced with iron. So iron being fenced means to be full. To be full. Look at that. That's not quite what you think you're going to hit, is it? When you think of fenced. To be full of what? To fill. Must be armed. Let's go down and see what it says in the notes. Accomplish. Completion. Overflow. Overflow with what? To be fenced. Allegorically means to be full of what? The spirit of truth. You're only going to enter in through the gates with the spirit of truth and testify in the day of the Lord about the controversy of Zion. We're told that, I believe, in Isaiah 34. I might have the passage wrong. Easy enough to type it in and find it. But these are the words I wanted to, this word 4390, must be armed, to be full. And when you scroll down into the notes, it'll mean fill cup with a drink for libation. Well, we found that they were offering up a blood libation instead of the water libation, which they were to be offering up. And we found that in the words in Lamentations 4:1, when they were murdering the women of wisdom identified as your precious gemstones. And they were murdering them on the corners of the streets and offering up a blood libation as opposed to a water libation. And it was the women of wisdom that they were taking out. So give full. Fill in, set precious stones, to put the precious stones back in their place. Complete, confirm, okay, going back up here because I missed it. I got them wrote down though, which is a good thing. A requital, oh look at that, of an exchange, requital, be accomplished, end it. She's brought forth her case to the ancient. And she says, this day have I begotten thee. You are my new branch in the earth. That's what she says to her daughter, to her firstborn Israel, the woman's seed. Figurative. Fill with spirit. Fill cup with drink for libation. So you're drinking water. You are not drinking blood. This is the other one. Laying arrow on a bow. Really? Why is that important? Let me make sure I got everything I wanted. Yeah, to fill jars with water is another one in here. So we've looked at filling your jar with water, with the truth of God. And what we discovered, the color of the jars were red. They're red ruby colored jars. And that is your suffering servant, she. Okay, so then we go to, where was the other one? Where is it? 2 Samuel 22:35. Or we'll start with 34. She makes my feet like those of a deer and stations me upon the heights. That's a climb. That's a climb you have to make to the truth. And you have to make that climb to the truth, to the head, to be in striking distance, to take it down. You can't shoot at something way out of your range and expect to hit it. We on earth can touch those feet, but by touching those feet, it allows the true spirit, the true ruler in the second heaven, to be able to come into striking distance of the head and take it down, which is Babylon, right? We get that, okay, in Jeremiah, I'll do this first, 51:53. Even if Babylon ascends to the heavens and fortifies her lofty stronghold, she did through the feet. Jesus, the idol, the New Testament. I will send destroyers, the daughters of Israel, against her, declares the Lord. Well, she sends them to her in the lowest parts. That's which is the first heaven. That's why she left behind her rear guard. She was pretty clever. I planned this a long time ago. It'll be my rear guard that takes the feet down. That'll bring you down. Oh, you think not? That's what's going on. That's why the pillars of heaven are shaking. Also says it in Job 12. Not making sense? Of course not. You've hardened your neck. You don't want to hear the truth. All you want to hear is your idol, Jesus. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Your idol. Your Babylon is what you are. Let me see if we can find it here. I know it's in 12 as well. At least I'm pretty sure it is. Let me see. Standing. Be built again. Still behold. This is a good chapter. I like this. Okay, I can't find it. It's there. I'm sure it's in 12 as well. Ooh. I know I did this chapter before. You see, you're through so much information, it's hard to keep track of it all. And when you get exhausted, sometimes just let everything go, you know. But even if Babylon, so where was I going? Yeah. So she leaves behind her rear guard in the earth. And we get that understanding in the Old Testament. It was to attack the feet. That's what she left us here to do, which is allegorical to her new branch that she brings out. She's only going to claim us as her new branch when we begin to question what they call the truth in the earth. That's when she reclaims us. So we get being armed, an arrow laid across a bow. What did a bow symbolize? It symbolized the covenant of God. So you must be armed, right? Where do we get her being armed? I just had it up here. Where is it? 2 Samuel? 2 Samuel 22:34. Yeah, God is my strong fortress. She makes my way clear. She makes my feet like those of a deer and stations me upon the heights. She trains my hands for battle. My arms can bend a bow of bronze. I can break his covenant. That's akin to the feet of the idol, is actually what it's allegorical to. Breaking the idol down, attacking the feet. We're the rear guard that was left in the earth to attack the feet, to bring the head down. That's right. So I wanted to look at deer and see if there was any comparison here. Because the she-goat has to climb to the heights where that satyr, the he-goat, the devil, Satan, Adam, fortified himself on high, he thought. But she's this she-goat that has to climb to the top. And that requires to be a strong one. And these are her preserved ones, her rear guard she left in the earth to do that. Feet follow, 4-footed. Let me see if there's anything in the notes about a she-goat. Quick. Foot, feminine near the end, right? Great toe. Of the seraphim. Okay. Cattle at one's foot. So, being bowed at the feet of the idol brings you in striking distance as well, because that's when you pick your head up and turn away and you go, hey, let's take a second look at this information. To be able to endure, follow, haunt, journey, come out after, as used in walking, by implication a step, by euphem. I won't go into that one. Great toe, haunt, journey, leg. Okay. It's the she-goat, I believe, that should be translated here. Well, it's got 355. Ayala. Yeah, I hit the wrong word. Oh my gosh, how did I do that? A hind, a doe. See, it's feminine, a goat, a doe. Feminine. A doe or deer, female deer. A doe, a deer. I'm not going to sing. Sorry. I love to sing. To myself. Okay. But is the she-goat. In the Middle East, they hunt goats. What's it called? Oh, I used to know the name of it. The goat in the Middle East that they hunt, just like we hunt deer over here. Well, we don't. I don't. Deer, right? You have made my feet like a she-goat, steady. My feet are steady in my climb. And on my high places you have set me, the rightful throne where the righteous daughter of Israel belongs. She trains my hands for battle. The hands, there is the hiding of the power. There is the hiding of her power in her hands, right? It says fire comes out of her hands. I just seen a new trailer for a new series. Daughters or women all over the globe are all of a sudden empowered with the ability to shoot electricity out of their hands. It's kind of silly. But it kind of follows this. Where is that verse? Let me see. Because perhaps some of you have never read this verse before. I hadn't until I got deep into study. Oh shoot, why'd you do that? Okay, sorry folks, we'll get there. Verse. And there was the hiding. So it says his power, it's her power. Let me see. It's her power. So Habakkuk 3:4. Let's write that reference down. Not that it's gonna matter. 3:4. Her brightness is like the sunlight. Yeah, she's the light of the world. We get that Isaiah 49. She has bright rays flashing from her hand. And there in the sun-like splendor is the hiding place of her power. Why is that important to understand? Because the hands were female. The feet are actually female as well. But there is the hiding of the power, the ability to take the idol down of a man as your Lord and your God. Right? But she's also ascended herself up to the heights, the harlot, that's hardened her neck also against the truth. Her argument is the idol Jesus, and thinks she will never be taught. The only ones to pass through her gates that will be able to testify on behalf of earth and all of her children will be these daughters holding nothing but the truth on their tongue and able to have put the case in order. Only those will be allowed forth, and it says it'll be to your great shame. So you can harden your neck. You can say Jesus, Jesus all you want. You can say Father, 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 Son, Son, Son. Wrong. You haven't even begun to arrange your case. And this is what we get. This is why this is important to understand this verse. But the woman who touches him must be armed with iron in the shaft of a spear. Spear is your allegorical to your teeth. That'll gnash, thresh, take down the idol. She says, I will make you a new threshing instrument. She says that of her daughters of Israel. And that's allegorical to taking the lie out of the land, right? The chaff, bringing the chaff and the wheat, the wicked out. And making the ground level is what it's allegorical to. And then we understand why it's these because of Genesis 49, right? So Joseph, this is all feminine. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches daughters run over the wall. The archers, that's Baal, your husband, have sorely grieved her and shot at her. That's with this covenant of steel that they think we can't break, which is akin to Babylon, who's, is inaccessible, that golden head up on high. But it's not. The archers have sorely grieved her and shot at her and hated her. And we understood it was her that they hated. We get that hate in reference to God. You hated God, you hated God, you hated the Lord, you hated her when we study it. But her bow, her covenant, the true covenant of God, abode in strength. And the arms of her hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of, not Jacob. He stole her birthright, Israel. From thence is the shepherdess, the stone of Israel, the rock that you denied. That's right. Just looked at that. Okay. So she makes my feet like those of a deer and stations me upon the heights. She trains my hands for battle. My arms can bend a bow of bronze. See? She has strengthened me. She has empowered me. She has filled me with her truth. By filling me with her truth, she has made me a strong one. And you are strong just to be able to pursue the truth. Against all of, them coming at you, you persevere with the truth on your tongue. There's no guile to be found on your tongue of bowing to an idol. And you can say, Jesus ain't an idol. I just saw a piece. What they found when they went to repair Jesus, the statue of Jesus. You mean the idol of Jesus. Get your context correct here, folks. So we know spears with iron shaft and all that. So that's good for today, I think. I didn't want this video to be overly long. Okay? So we're at 40 minutes. That's long enough. I babbled long enough. So I pray the Lord does bless you with an abundance of the truth. I pray you're one of the strong ones. I pray you're able to be took out through the gate to stand for earth, to protect earth. And that means having your case in order. But we have been hitting at the feet. And we did a study in that if you want to go find it. It's one of the last 3 or 4 videos. So I pray the Lord bless you with an abundance of truth. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. We got the sun out here. It's not too cold. It's pretty good. I'm not cold today. I'm in a good mood today. Thanks for watching. And have a really nice day.